It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, AG denies opposition claims about voter turnout. Speaker explains closed parliament session, and Sedition accused denied bail. Acting Prime Minister and Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says the analysis by the opposition leader Rotemu Mokepa on the voter turnout for last year's election is false. The opposition leader made her presentations on the 2014 elections in Parliament this week, which Said Qayyum has opposed. Shireen Lata reports.
Acting Prime Minister and Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum has described all the claims by the opposition leader Rotemu Mokepa on the 2014 election as flawed. He says the opposition leader has not only given a wrong interpretation of the voter turnout, but has also undermined the electoral system and has a wrong impression about the multinational observer group report.
She said you could not compare the voter turnout of 2014 with the voter turnout of 2006 because in 2006 people who were below the age of 21 did not vote. Madam Speaker, how flawed is that? Voter turnout is based on the percentage of registered voters who actually turn up to vote. So you can have 10 registered voters, 9 of them turn up, you have a 90% turnout. You can have 1 million people and you can have 100,000 people who turn up, you have 10% of the people who voted.
Said Qayyum says there was a high voter turnout during the 2014 election, and even the percentage of invalid votes were only 0.7%.
In fact, they forgot to also highlight that the current electoral system, Madam Speaker, allows for small minority parties to even have representation.
The Attorney General says it is unfortunate that none of the opposition members refer to the EU report post-2006 election when Fiji had a high turnout of invalid votes, and the report also highlighted that there were people who were not registered properly. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
Speaker of the House Dr. Chico Luveni has clarified that the closed sitting of Parliament was to allow the government to make a statement about negotiating bond prices without publicly affecting market forces. Opposition MP Professor Biman Prasad yesterday asked why there was no right of reply to an announcement by Finance Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum that a new bond agreement has been secured.
I received communication on 23rd September 2015 from the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Finance, Public Enterprises, Public Service and Communications that the bond deal has been concluded. Therefore, due to the public interest element in the reasons for the closed session, I felt that there should be no delay in making the announcement to the public, and indeed that this be done in Parliament.
The government has a new bond from a US insurer at a rate of 6.6%, less than the previous 9%. Minister for Land Mereseni Vuniwanga has clarified that landowners of Nawailevu in Bua, where a bauxite mine is located, have not received any royalties from the government. Vuniwanga was responding to a claim made by opposition MP Moses Mbulitavu in Parliament that Nawailevu landowners have been paid $600,000 in royalties.
This remark from opposition MP Moses Mbulitavu in Parliament on Monday drew a quick reaction from the Minister for Land, Mereseni Vuniwanga.
And also a $600,000 fair share of royalty for the future generation.
$600,000 for Nawailevu is not a fair share of royalty.
Vuniwanga confirms the amount is not a royalty, but a payment from the mining company to help the children of Nawailevu.
Until a fair share of royalty formula is set, royalties will be held in trust by government. So to the Nawailevu people, your royalties will be shared once the formula is set.
Wuniwanga says the government is still formulating the payout of royalties. She adds in the meantime, villagers should seek clarification from the government about any issues related to the bauxite mine. A Chinese company, Zinfa Oram Explorations Fiji Limited, has a lease to mine bauxite used to make aluminium at Noe level. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Lautoka High Court has rejected the bail review application of the Nandronga 16, charged with sedition and urging communal antagonism. The ruling was made on the grounds that the defence did not provide any new evidence or circumstance to justify the review. Madhyumbola Tamana reports.
Lautoka High Court Judge Justice Tushar Rajasinghe says the three motions by Ratu Tevita Makutu on the Magistrates Court's ruling denying bail have no special facts or circumstances to justify a review. Defense lawyer Aman Ravindra Singh made the review application on behalf of his clients based on three grounds. He said the constitutional rights of his clients, as stipulated in Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution, had been breached as the applicants had not been provided with the disclosures at the time of the ruling. The second argument was that the investigation concluded in November 2014 and his clients have not been involved in any criminal activity since then. Singh's third argument was the correctness in the magistrate's ruling in respect to the respondents' objections in the magistrate's court. Justice Rajasinghe said the 16 accused have the option to appeal his decision in the Fiji Court of Appeal or file a fresh bail application. Justice Rajasinghe will renew the remand warrant for the 16 accused persons on the 8th of October. He also set a date for mention on 14th October before Judge Justice Paul Madigan. Madhyumbola Tamana, FBC News.
We now cross to our Nandi office. Madhu, there was another sedition case that was before the court today. What is the outcome in that matter?
Justice Paul Madigan has granted bail to a juvenile who is charged with sedition and urging political violence. The juvenile is one of the two charged by the court that were being detained at the Super Boys Center. The state had initially objected to bail, but Justice Madigan said that the two were only foot soldiers who played no part in decision making. He laid strict bail conditions, including bail for $500 and surety for $100 each from their mothers. The juveniles cannot be with more than 3 people at one time, excluding family members. They are to report to the Tabua police station every day, while the case will be recalled in the Lautoka High Court on the 14th of October.
Coming up after the break, Fiji prepares for 2016 budget forum.
Ya vino pala ng topo sumay ni Wasing mga Bula FM ng banduan na sir ng una ninden naman kay Central Rental sa mga kanya puso ko ito minichi me ba na koloko. Ni Sabula.
O ya wa ti soni dalai.
Gonga yung Wasing doon.
Na makikiraw mena tolu kina bitu. Ena via kabi moliti kina porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kami. Bula FM ng bandua na sir.
Supermarkets have come under the scrutiny of the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority. FIRCA General Manager Taxation Vishwanath Das says a recent audit has uncovered forged VAT returns, understating VAT sales and overstating zero-rated supplies. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
The supermarkets are being closely monitored after an audit revealed malpractice.
That apply actually to supermarkets all across. And at this stage, probably would not reveal the numbers.
So you saying you found?
But we have looked at the whole industry, the whole supermarket industry, and it is common knowledge, who are the big players in the industry.
FRCA General Manager Taxation Vishwanath Das says tax agents and accountants in some cases have been helping their clients to evade paying taxes.
There are 2 sets of books being maintained by taxpayers. And tax agents and accountants also get involved in this because they provide a set of books for taxation and a set of books for banks. I think it is high time we want to highlight that these are all the issues and FERCA knows about it, and we want full compliance.
Das says those taxpayers involved in these fraudulent activities need to come forward and make full disclosures voluntarily or face stiff penalties and possible imprisonment. FBC News has sought comments from the Fiji Grocers Association. However, they had not responded when this bulletin was prepared. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Questions sent to the Fiji Institute of Accountants for their comments have yet to be answered. Lawyers must be included in decision-making and reviewing laws. This was discussed at the Fiji Law Society Convention, which was held today after a lapse of 5 years. Chanel Sivan reports.
The last time these lawyers met under the Fiji Law Society banner was in 2010. There is a lot to catch up on. The society itself was only revived last year. Chief Justice Anthony Gates recognized the contribution of the legal fraternity to nation building.
We need lawyers in Parliament so that legislation can be effectively scrutinized and the workability of intended measures and sanctions can be considered, and the overall reasonableness and fairness of restrictions on our freedoms can be carefully weighed.
Society President Peter Knight shared similar sentiments, saying upskilling of lawyers and greater involvement in lawmaking will top the agenda in this year's convention.
Hopefully we are invited to comment on draft legislation that is to be introduced so that we are able to have some input in that. We also will be conducting further continuing legal education sessions during the course of the next 12 months. We plan to have another convention this year and every year thereafter.
Over 150 lawyers have gathered for the convention in Lami. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
24 officers were commissioned into the Fiji military forces today. The successful candidates completed a one-year officer cadet course. Akusita Tale reports.
23-year-old Epim Bukov Kandavu was among 19 other officers in the passing out parade at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Suva. The former teacher said he decided to take the bold step and enroll for officer training in the military.
Before, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a soldier, but my mom, she didn't want me to be a soldier, so I opted for other options. But opportunities come around, so I opted for this opportunity. I'm so lucky to be here today.
Alifereti Silimaimbau has his sister to thank for encouraging him to join the military.
I have big dreams in front of me, but I can't explain it now. It depends once I move on with the military, then I will see how it goes.
I'd like to wish Mr. Alfred Silimaimbau a great future ahead of him, that he'll continue to do a great work and be our best.
Today saw the highest number of graduates ever.
We've come up with this officer cadet training, which started late last year. We started with over 70 candidates, and 24 survived the vigorous course.
Acting Commander Commodore William Enopoto reminded the officers to uphold military law, make wise decisions, and be good leaders.
We now join the institution that is tasked through our Constitution to ensure the security, defense, and well-being of all Fijians.
5 other officers currently in training in Australia and New Zealand will be commissioned in the next few months. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Representatives from the business community, financial services sector, construction sector, civil society and faith-based organizations have been invited to a budget forum on Saturday. Organized by the Finance Ministry, it's designed to allow a two-way exchange. Akusita Tale reports.
The opportunity has been presented to businesses, non-government organizations and almost every other sector to directly contribute to national economic growth.
You'll also know that how people have different interests and indeed at times different competing interests. So it's an idea that we came up with to ensure that everybody has an understanding of what the competing interests are.
The forum will allow the government to receive feedback in an attempt to introduce policies which will improve the lives of all Fijians. The forum is inclusive of all sectors of the community.
We've also called a number of professional organizations representing, for example, manufacturers, etc., We've also called the Taxi Association, Carrier Association. We've also called some of the larger faith-based organizations for the first time.
The budget discussion will also help participants and organizations understand how the budgetary process works. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Muslims around the country are celebrating the feast of sacrifice known as Bakra Eid today. The day is commemorated with the sacrifice of animals like goats or sheep and prayers at the mosque. Fiji Muslim League priest Abdul Waris says Bakra Eid is the second religious festival celebrated by Muslims around the world annually.
So in Fiji, today is our first day for the sacrifice in Fiji for the Fijian Muslims. So all of us, first of all, we already prayed our Eid Namaz, Eid Salat in the place where it is been done, the mosque.
Families retain 1/3 of the share of the sacrificed animal, another third is given to relatives, friends, and the remaining third is given to the poor and needy. Sports now, here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. After the break, flying Fijian wing Nemani Nandolo to face Sighting Commission. And Fiji National Rugby League sounds warning ahead of Vodafone Cup Grand Final. Details coming up.
जहां हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहां स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूं पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो Fiji 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना।
The Vodafone Flying Fijians went through a recovery session in Wales overnight after the grueling encounter against Australia. And while luck hasn't been on their side in its 2 matches so far at the World Cup, the team is sticking to its game plans. Indra Singh with this story from Wales.
The reports and updates of the Rugby World Cup is proudly presented by Vodafone, Power to You, and Airports Fiji Limited, creating new experiences, Fiji's gateway to the world. In association with FMF, the right choice. Total Exilium New Generation, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometre after kilometre. Sun Insurance, for Fijians by Fijians. Supported by Fiji Airways, Deluxe, Island Chill, Comfort Home Furnishing, Rooster Chicken, Legal Aid, Land Transport Authority, and Central Rentals.
The Flying Fijians hit the pool in Wales to give their body some much-needed recovery, but the collective thought within this group is that Fiji is climbing the ranks.
Definitely, we're taking a step as it goes. We'll keep digging away, and eventually, the win will come. But we're not going to fall out of track, and our game plan won't change. We'll keep fighting, and hopefully, like I said, the win will come our way.
It took a courageous Australia defence to keep Fiji out, and vice versa. But the talk 24 hours after the game has been Fiji's forward play.
Yeah, well, we came with with a passion about the scrum and lineouts, and we've worked on our scrums through the last couple of weeks, and you can tell by the way we scrummed. We held our ground.
Tale has been around long enough to point out that there is a vast difference now, but it's all about onwards and upwards.
And nothing is just left, sitting there. Everything's, put forward to you, and it's your job as a player to go forward and, grab a laptop, grab an iPad, and have a look at your opponent and your individual games as well, and what the coaches want from you. And it's helped as well in different aspects of the boys' games.
The Flying Fijians having a recovery session in the pool this morning as they recover from that massive test against the Australians. 2 more games to go. The spirits are high in camp, and the boys know the improvement that they've shown has won them a lot of fans around the world, and they also have personal goals to try and win the remaining 2 games. It's rest and recovery today. It's a closed session tomorrow, and they're back on the pitch on Saturday. Interesting. FBC Sports.
Young Ben Volavola says he's learning more each day playing in the Rugby World Cup, and despite some setbacks, his aim is to improve with each game. Indra Singh caught up with Volavola today.
Takes it on! Volavola! He got it!
Scoring the one and only try for the Fijians couldn't have come at a better time for Ben Volavola, who knows he has a big role to play.
Scores Fiji's first try.
Yeah, it was bittersweet, although we didn't come up with a win. It was good to score my first try for the country, so very proud of that moment.
There might have been a few doubters seeing him in the number 10 jumper, but Volavola knows too well he just has to let his game do the talking.
Well, you just got to concentrate on yourself. I guess people have their own opinions and they're entitled to their own opinions. It just, I wasn't happy with my first game against England and just had to do my homework and improve on that. And still, although we didn't come out with a win, I felt like I improved a bit more.
While he knows the result against Australia didn't go Fiji's way, it was the work that has been put in that is turning heads in the world rugby circles.
Yeah, very proud of the boys and how we defended at the end there, and just so gutsy from our guys.
He will be plying his trade with the Crusaders in Super Rugby next season and says working with Sadie's assistant coach Tambai Matson in the Fijian setup has helped.
Yeah, definitely. I learned a lot from Tabai over the last couple of months.
He is also forever thankful to his family for the support rendered at the World Cup so far.
Family are been very supportive and very proud of myself, and I'm just thankful to have them here and having my girlfriend and my mum here and also my aunties and stuff. Just been very blessed to have them here and support me.
So with a try under his belt, Volavola is sure to become a renowned 5'8" in seasons to come. In the meantime, he is just going about doing his job on the field and learning how to mix it with the big guns. Interesting, FBC Sports.
Flying Fijian wing Nemani Nandolo has become Fiji's second player to be cited at the Rugby World Cup. Nandolo was cited for an alleged act of foul play contrary to Law 10.4 in the 28-13 loss to Australia yesterday. Nandolo's hearing will take place on Monday, the outcome of which will determine his availability for Fiji's third World Cup pool match to be played against Wales. Much has been said about the improved Flying Fijian set pieces at the World Cup. The Fiji Rugby Union has attributed this to the world-class coaching staff of John McKee, Alan Muir, Franz Ludeke and Tabai Matson.
In speaking with these gentlemen when they first came, all of them were confident that the Fiji Rugby Union had the potential to one day be world champion. And that is something that that has attracted them. And then we are starting to see the fruits of their input, marshaled by Mr. John McKee.
Tambo Levu says other than McKee, he cannot confirm whether the other coaches will be retained next year. Meanwhile, in the Lone Rugby World Cup match played today, defending champions New Zealand thumped Namibia 58-14. The All Blacks ran in 9 tries, headed by a double each from their wings. Man of the match, Nehe Milner-Skada and Julian Savia. The world number 1 play Georgia next Saturday in their third pool match. Meanwhile, tomorrow morning, Argentina plays Georgia at 3:45 a.m. You can catch that match and the remainder of the tournament live right here on APC TV. The Fiji National Rugby League will come down hard on ill discipline during the Vodafone Cup Grand Final in Suva this weekend. Following the brawl that ensued between Sambeto Roosters and Burunitu Cowboys players in the semi-finals last week, FNRL issued the warning today to teams which will compete in the top 8 and Premier Grade finals tomorrow.
In Rugby League, we have a specific understanding that when two players they have a physical encounter, it's between them. The players that come in to join, just to even run in, they get punished severely than those two who are fighting. So that is always the general understanding, and for quite a long time you've never seen this kind of behavior that happened last Saturday.
Nambour Broncos will take on Sambeto Roosters in the top 8 grand final tomorrow at the ANZ Stadium, while Navatu Levu Herons battle Coastline Roos in the Premier Grade final. A large crowd gathered at the Lale service station in Nandi to witness the weigh-in of boxers that will participate at the local Westwood boxing program tomorrow. In the main bout junior, the Reza Ali weighed 60 kilograms, while Ulayasing Galumai weighed in at 69 kg. In the supporting bout, Joseph Kwadjo weighed 78.2 kg, while Joe Naleda weighed 83.2. Meanwhile, the extra supporting bout sees upcoming fighter Sebastian Singh taking on Etuate Kofi. The Westwood boxing program will begin at 4 p.m. tomorrow. That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Fiji Electricity Authority has conducted quality training with about 50 staff from around Fiji. The Quality Circle Convention is aimed at fostering innovation and better business practices as driven by the staff. FEA Chief Executive Hasmukh Patel says it's always people who create new ideas which benefit organizations.
Now, if you cannot invest so heavily and get the right people, then the other option is to get people at a certain level, right? And then you have to invest in them and train them.
Innovative ideas were judged by an independent panel with winners declared at the end of the day. Fine morning with overcast afternoon was experienced in Fiji today. A trough of low pressure lies to the west of Fiji. Meanwhile, a weak frontal system lies over central Tonga and extends eastwards towards the Cook Islands. Suva and Savu recorded 27 degrees. Nadi and Lautoka experienced 28 degrees, while Ba and Lambasa were at a high of 30 degrees. Forecast for tomorrow, cloudy periods with some showers. An outlook for Sunday is occasional showers. And recapping the main points. Acting Prime Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says the analysis by the opposition on the voter turnout for last year's election is false. Speaker of the House Dr. Chico Luveni clarifies closed Parliament sitting was necessary to successfully negotiate bond prices. And 16 charged with sedition denied bail by the Lautoka High Court. Now to our poll segment this week, we're asking, is the level of police visibility on the road satisfactory? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Ni Modamanda.